So just to give you a little bit of a background, companies are facing a really, really hard time in this competitive world. And they're having a hard time to differentiate themselves because they're quickly losing relevance in the life of consumers. For years, companies that had a strong leadership in the market, they behaved a little bit arrogant because they thought that they had nothing to lose. And but up to the point that the land started to change under their feet, because obviously the digital disruption brought very small companies that could disrupt huge corporations, right? So they mainly had a product and sales focus, and but that wasn't enough. Customers, with the years and with probably about 15 years as customers started to have the power in their hands, which is basically what is going on today. So the only differentiating factor today is that with the level of customer experience, the brightest piece of technology is not making the differentiating factor anymore. The latest product release is not doing anything anymore because there are so many other products exactly the same, with the same quality, the same prices, and same everything. So as human beings today, we are made to interact with one another and be part of a community. So yes, I'm getting there. But as our digital world divides us from the real world, customers are seeking ways to feel connected. And the main goal of a brand today is to create customer brand connection and human interaction. And you might be saying, how can we do this? Well, yes, you can start by improving your customer experience. And I'm sure many of you know this, but customer experience is basically the perception of your customer across all the stages that they have with your brand. So the stages, I mean the customer journey. And this is by Hotspot. But if we have a look at what Harvard Business Review says, there we go. So it basically says that every aspect of a company offering is a touch point and is the face of the brand. That can be the quality of customer care, the advertising, the packaging, the product, the service features, ease of use. Every interaction that your customers have with your brand is the result of their perception of it. So this is what is customer experience. And I wanted to elucidate a few things because there are so many different definitions, and the term has been used and misused for years. So it's good to know what is the right definition. But let's move on and let's see what I have for you today. So you might be saying, what do I even start from? Exactly from breaking down your customer experience, your customer journey, and analyzing what is not working and improving that to your customers. We're going to see how to do that today. Over the years, I've been researching and working for bigger and smaller companies. And of course, I've also been researching on customer centricity and customer experience, which I've been writing a book about as well. I'm going to talk to you about this later on. But I've been interviewing senior executives from world-class organizations, and I've come up with this framework, which I'm going to show to you today. And I'm going to start with 3 main pillars for enhancing and improving your customer experience. Let's face it, today, customers are completely losing trust in the life of in companies and organizations and institutions, right? Because they don't believe marketing anymore. They don't believe in brands anymore. So the first pillar that I'm going to talk to you today is the pillar of humanity, and is exactly what customers want today. So after so many new technologies around the world, so many new platforms and softwares that your customers are facing by connecting with you, and by the automation and personalization, of course, they are completely losing the human touch. And this is what they want, as we said at the beginning of the presentation. They want the human brand interaction and connection. We're going to have a look how we can do this. So why people are losing trust on customers, on companies and institutions? They actually say that, there we go. They actually say that 75% of customers say that in the future, they want more human interaction and not less. And this is a very important thing that we have to do, because in order to build trust, we need to follow these three main pillars that I'm going to tell you today. And trust is a very important foundation for customer experience. If there is no trust, there is no relationship, right? And that's for any relationship. So we're going to have a look how to do this. Sorry, I think my connection is a bit slow. So customers are thinking that companies basically are just there to make money, or just there to telling us what they want, what we want to hear, right? They basically stick with marketing and marketing promotion and marketing communication. They want integrity, which is the first element that we are going to have a look at today. They want integrity, and then they want empathy. So what is integrity? Let's have a look how we can build integrity. Integrity is the principle by which a brand finds its mission and its reason for being alive. And of course, there is nothing wrong to be wanting to make money, right? Because this is the purpose of a business. In a way, we have to make money to survive, but it shouldn't be the sole purpose, because customers want more. So integrity is the defining characteristic that sets all the customer experiences apart from each other, and all the competition apart from each other, right? So what is your brand integrity today? And how can you be relevant in the life of consumers? But also, are you sharing your values and integrity with your consumers by your actions? When I say integrity, I call it purpose, and I call it mission, and I call it your why. And basically, what is your why? As Simon Sinek used to say in his book, what is your why? But he was right, because today companies want to buy from companies. Today, customers want to buy from companies that have a purpose, that have values that resonate with their own values. Okay. So this is a very interesting case study. And it's KUP is a Norwegian life insurance company. The insurance industry is one of the most hated industries in the world. And yet KUP managed to have a strong integrity around his competitors. And of course, that showed his customers that had a different purpose for its business. So what is the purpose of KUP? So they have a strong integrity, believing in responsible investing businesses and ensuring that every fund is invested into businesses that are both ethically and environmentally sound. That keeps corporate responsibility, sustainable development, and social fairness at the heart of the business. So KUP, from a hated company and from a hated industry, it became one of the most important company in Norway. But there is another one I want to show you that you probably know more of. Ben & Jerry's. Ben & Jerry's, they are selling ice creams for decades. But they're not just selling ice creams. Their marketing, let's say, and their purpose is not to sell ice cream, but is actually to sell racial injustice, to fight for it. They are fighting for racial injustice, and they're saying, if you buy Ben & Jerry's ice cream, we are going to fight for racial injustice. And they share their purpose everywhere and with every action they take in their marketing campaigns. Let's have a look. It's a bit slow. I'm really sorry about this. The second element of the pillar of humanity is empathy. And what is empathy? Because we see everywhere today, but empathy actually, especially in COVID times, is a very important element of the pillar of humanity, of course, but also of the three pillars of the customer experience for delivering exceptional customer experience. So empathy means walking in your customer's shoes and understanding your customers from their perspective, not from the company's perspective. So today, for brands, in order to build trust, which is what we said is the foundation of customer experience, they must listen, not just need to, but they must listen, understand, and communicate with authenticity. And to be able to listen, understand, and communicate with the intent to learn and help their customers, not to sell to their customers, right? That requires empathy. These ask three important questions. Do you really care who I am? Do you know me? And do you care about me? These are three very important questions that your customers might be asking all the time that they receive an email from you, or that they are talking to their shop assistant, or whenever they have an interaction with your brand. Why am I saying this? According to a report by Reach Solutions, 30% of companies were proficient in experiencing the world from someone else's perspective, but only 30% of companies, which is incredibly low, is a very low percentage. So how can we share empathy in our communication? We need to really show compassion. We need to create relationships rather than sales, as I said before. We need to be real and authentic. We need to take actions to show our integrity and resonate with our consumers. When we talked about our integrity, we really need to show it, that we want to fight for a cause, that we want to fight for racial injustice. So how can we be real and authentic? And how can we show compassion? There was a really interesting example that I saw just before my presentation, and I'm going to share it with you now. So there are two ways you can do this. Actually, there is only one way, but I'm going to show you the wrong way and the positive way. If you walk in a shopping mall, in a shoe store, for example, and you want to buy a pair of shoes, and the lady said to you, "I can't get you this product until next month. It's back ordered and unavailable at this time. You'll have to wait a few weeks, but I'm happy to place the order for you right now." All right, that is not really empathetic, is it? And it's not really compassionate. It's okay. You get it. You sold it up. It's fine. But you're not really building a relationship with that brand. What if you can say the same thing, exactly the same thing, but in a positive way? For example, it looks like that product will be restocked and available next month. It can be placed. I can place the order for you right now, and we'll make sure it'll be sent to you as soon as it reaches the warehouse. How about that? Isn't it much more positive than the other one? Of course, yes, right? So in this way of showing compassion, showing that you understand that customer, of course that customer wants a pair of shoes right away, but they're not available. But instead of saying that you will have to, or I can't do this, I'm afraid, the only way you could do, the other way, the alternative way you can do is by showing your compassion and showing your authenticity and showing your positive language instead. So that's your empathy element for the pillar of humanity. And we're going to move on to the pillar of technology, which of course is another very important pillar and an important aspect of improving customer experience strategy. This answers a very important question, which is, how do we deliver the customer experiences, right? Of course, you need to lean on technology to get to know that customer, right? Because if you're a small business, then you can, you can create that relationship But then as you scale your business, as you grow, it will be much more difficult to build relationship with each of your customers. So you need to lean on technology to do that. And we're going to have a look how we can do this. So customer-focused companies think of technologies as part of their customer experience strategy, but they think of technology as a way to make the life of consumer better and freer, for example, and easier, right? So while looking for opportunities to implement your technology into your customer experience strategy, you need to keep the focus on the touch points. And as we said earlier, the touch points are the point of contact between your customer and your brand, right? We're going to have a look now. So how customers use the touch points and why they do so, and how the touch points work collectively, how well they work collectively. Like it's basically like a mechanism, right? So, and this is basically your customer journey. And why is it important to know this? Because once you understand how your customer journey works, then you'll be able to shape better messages and better customer experiences for them. So we're going to have a look how we can do this. Now, the first element of the pillar of technology is, of course, there was another one. What impact do they have on the customer experience? That is another point that we need to take into consideration when looking for the right technology for our company and for our customer experience. So the first element of the pillar of technology is data. Why data is important. And I'm sure you know this more than me, but we really need to forget about bias personas. Segmenting a customer base is not longer enough. And for true accuracy, we need to rely on technology to get to know that customer on an individual level, on a deeper level. Today, we have access to structured and unstructured data, which allow us to understand that customers much better. So shaping an experience for a customer based on a personalized preferences is the future of marketing. So it's another level. For example, and you know this, two people who have the same personas don't have the same behaviors, right? So we need to forget biased personas. This is an example of personalization, which I'm going to get to. And we need to start hyper-personalizing. So forget about biased personas, but hyper-personalize. And this is what customers expect today from brands. And time is our most important commodity today. Personalization respects customers' time. And if we aren't in the business of saving our customers' time and making their life easier and better with the technology that we have available today, we risk being disrupted by a newbie who will. And we've seen it at the beginning of the presentation. There are so many new competitors with same products, same qualities, and same prices that the only way we need to differentiate ourselves is with these pillars that I'm talking to you today, is basically with the level of customer experience. So how do we do this? We do this, of course, by using artificial intelligence-powered tools. And I saw this really interesting report by Ascent2. What are the most effective AI-powered applications used in hyper-personalization strategy? Of course, predictive analytics, user experience tools. These are amazing because they show where is the customer, the user and the customer going through the website. Why are not actually buying the product? What is going on? There must be a friction, right? So personalization, according to McKinsey, personalization can reduce acquisition costs by as much as 50%, lift revenues by 5 to 15%, and increase the efficiency of marketing spend by 10 to 30%. You guys know more than me, but acquiring a customer is much more expensive than retaining a customer. So if you If you want to acquire a customer, that's amazing. That's great. This is what we are here for. But try not to lose a customer, because losing a customer, you will lose an advocate, not just a customer, right? So that's why personalization is important. Personalization is one of the expectations of customers today. And we're going to see which one is the second one in the technology pillar, which is ease of use. And ease of use is extremely important. And my user experience friends that are watching today are probably agreeing with me that attention spans are not only becoming shorter, but the lack of time in consumers is also causing consumers to be more selective in the way they want to purchase products, right? So among the list of benefits and expectations that consumers have, we of course have hyper-personalization, but we also have convenience and ease of use. And convenience is part of ease of use and vice versa. So basically this answers the question of how easily can the customer use a product or service? And in other words, how easily can they buy your product? How easy can they interact with your channels, whether it's a website, whether it's a mobile app, whether it's your Facebook Messenger, for example, or your chatbot, or whatever channel you are offering to your customer, how easy is to reach you, right? So ease of use is extremely important. So it's not just about channels, but it's also about the product. How easy is for your customers to use your product, right? So let's have a look. And also, what is the degree of lack of efficiency in your customer journey? Extremely important to get this. What's the degree of lack of efficiency in your customer journey? We're going to have a look at what is a customer journey now and how it's made, an example. So once you start removing the frictions that are preventing your customers from pursuing the desired task, you will have a better customer journey and therefore a better customer experience, right? So I urge you to, let's have a look what we have to do. We have to obviously see how many friction interruptions we have in our customer journey. The things that we have to do, practical things are, here we go. We need to break down your customer journey. We need to identify any obstacles and we need to fix them as soon as possible. Because if we're not fixing those obstacles and interruptions, then we definitely opening doors to our competitors and we don't want to do that. So this is an example of a customer journey, right? Of a modern customer journey. As we know, it used to be very linear and it used to go through the normal steps of awareness, consideration, purchase, and advocacy. That's completely gone. As you can see, it narrows and widens as the customer goes through different stages, different activities and different channels, different expectations and feelings, because we are talking about moments, feelings, emotions. Yes, because as we know, customers buy on emotions, right? There are only just a few products like commodities that customers buy as rational purchases. So this is how basically the customer goes through your funnel today. And it goes ups and down, up and down, up and down all the time. And as you can see, the customer is annoyed. And then the customer is frustrated. And then again is frustrated. But then he's slightly pleased. So we need to really get rid of those annoyances and frustrations. Now, the third element of our customer experience framework, I would say, this is what I call it, is the pillar of culture. And culture is another very important aspect of customer experience. Because customer experience, I know it starts from the marketing department, and probably the marketing department is what is responsible for the success of customer experience initiatives, but the culture of the organization, of the company, of the brand is extremely important, whether it's a small brand or whether it's a big brand, right? So the biggest problem in customer experience today is that companies are treating employees like robots. They forget who their customers are, they stop listening to them, and they behave pretty much like the algorithms. But if we can treat our employees like people, they can go above and beyond for customers when things go wrong. And as we know it, things always go wrong. So customer experience really fails without engaged employees. Employees are the first element of a successful customer experience culture. Why so? Because if we have engaged employees that create engaging customer experiences, we will have engaged customers. In fact, a report by Gallup organization says that companies that empower employees see 50% more in customer loyalty. It's easy as that. Employee experience, customer experience, is a match. There must be, right? So what do we need to do? Do they believe in our mission, in your integrity, in your purpose, right? Remember the first pillar that we talked about. Do your employees believe in it? Do they even know what's your mission? As you start improving your customer experience, you need to get everyone talking about customers. You need to get them involved to know the customers with the help of data. So instead of keeping that data siloed within the marketing department, share it with all the company. Everyone must know about the customers, right? Then I always suggest companies, my clients, to survey those employees. How can we improve the customer experience? And lastly, let them understand how their job contributes to the success of customer experience, the success of their customers. Because a lot of employees don't even know why we are improving the customer experience or why customers buy this particular product or how they do so, right? This is what I recommend to do. The second pillar of the pillar of culture is the CX DNA. And this is basically about who's responsible about the success of customer experience, where that customer experience sits. So if this is you need to be the customer experience champion in every department. So is your job to do so. You really need to build a strong business case and make CX a priority for your executives. Sorry, just looking at the time. And so the truth is that customer experiences they should be rooted in every part of the company, including those team members that are not really customer-facing team members, employees. They don't have a direct contact with customers, but they should know what is going on, right? Why those customers are buying, why they're not buying, and how we can all improve it. Right, so these are the three pillars that constitute an excellent customer experience. Now it's your job to improve this. But as we said before at the beginning of the presentation, we need to build trust. And how can we do this? By adopting all these elements and the three pillars, we are able to build trust, to establish trust. And I've created this the cycle of trust for a handbook of research. I'm going to tell you how it starts. And it's really easy, but it's really logical. It's really common sense. And it starts by giving a positive emotion. So providing satisfaction to customers, right? It starts by that. Once there is satisfaction, customer satisfaction, then you create customer engagement. And of course, once there is engagement with a customer, there is a relationship, right? And as in every relationship, there should be loyalty, but it's your job to do this. There should be loyalty. And once there is loyalty, there is advocacy. Advocacy is a very important part of this cycle of trust because it reinforces itself through a loop. And once you reach the point of advocacy, customer advocacy, you have customers that are advocating on your behalf. And this is what you want, right? So why is it important to build trust? According to the trust barometer of Elderman, 81% of customers say that trusting a brand is a deciding factor in their purchase decision. And they also advocate on the brand's behalf. I mean, this is 81%. It's a lot, right? It's quite a lot. So that's why it's important to build trust. And lastly, according to Accenture, 66% of customers want to buy from a brand that does what it says it will do and will deliver on its promises. So on top of all these things that we've seen today now in this presentation, we also need to deliver on our promises. If we think of our first pillar, an element of integrity, so our mission, and we fight for a cause, we really need to fight for it. It's not just a marketing thing that we have to, that we want to do, but we really need to fight for it. Great. To wrap this up, we've got only 3 minutes to wrap this up. The 3 pillars that we've seen today, humanity, technology, and culture, answers 3 very important questions. Why? Right? So your mission, your purpose, how we are going to use these technologies, and the culture says who is responsible for it? Everybody, right? All the employees should be engaged, right? So these 3 pillars constitute a really important aspect, really important aspect of customer experience. For years, I've been researching what constitutes successful businesses and also what really makes companies to move from product-centric towards a more customer-centric focus, which is what is winning today, which is what unlocks the future of your business. So I landed with the need to create this framework, and I landed with the need to write this book. I'm interviewing senior executives, as I said, from world-class organizations, and I'd love you to register for my book. If you'd like to know more about it, in my book, I'll explain how to operationalize my framework, and I would love to have you there. Well, I think I'm literally just there, finished. I would love to connect with you. Hopefully I've left some time for some question. If not, write me an email or connect with me on LinkedIn. It'll be great to have you there. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Hey, so I got a couple of questions for you.
Yes, please.
I've got one here, and grazie mille for your presentation. But a couple of questions for you. So of the 3, this one's from Jamal, humanity, technology, and culture, which one of those 3 do you think we need to focus on the most as marketers today?
To be honest, we
You got to
need
pick
to
your
have
favorite child.
we need to have a balance. Why I created this framework? Because a lot of companies focus too much on one thing only. And in order to succeed, we need to have a balance. So if we lean too much on one side, then it's not balanced. And we need to have human factor, really strong human factor, strong in technology and efficiencies and processes and automation and personalization, but also strong in culture, right? So your employees need to be very engaged in order to deliver what your customers want. Because it's not just about technology, but it's also about that human factor. And human factor is made and delivered by the people working in their company.
Agreed. Got one here from Fabienne who asks, is there a major difference that you find in B2C, business to consumer versus business to business?
Of course, the 2 models are different. but the customers are still human beings. So business to business customers and business to business customers, business to consumer customers are still humans. So we need to treat them in the same way, basically. We need to still build a relationship with each of them, right? So if you have accounts, then you need to build that relationship with them. That human factor is really important. And your technology is also important as well, because without technology, you'll be losing track of your accounts. And the culture is still the same important factor.
Fantastic. Fantastic job, Ilenia.
Thank you so much. Have a great
Very,
evening, everyone.
thank you
Great.
so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.